performance here on LAN, especially if his mentality's been a bit shaky, to show up when it matters most, the Chiefs.
Well, game one of another international matchup about to get underway. Asia Pacific North versus Middle Eastern North Africa. Let's go ahead and find out what's going to happen. This is the #1 seed out of APAC North in Senbei Strikers and the #2 seed for MENA in Veloce. A lot of questions to be asked and potential answers to be found. Kickoff, here to go.
Now my question for you is, what is the role that we see Realize play? Like, I don't know exactly where he fits in on this team, to be honest with you, and I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Well, everybody yesterday on Senbei against Optic, it generally was kind of just sitting there playing defense for a lot of the time. So, like I'm saying, it's kind of tough to feel if there's any real one driving force for either of these teams right now, since both of them had to play so much defense yesterday and couldn't really get anything going. It's tough to say how you can say, okay, how are they really slotting in and feeling good? But in general, I mean, Realize seemed to be kind of facilitating rotation. If I wanted to figure out how yesterday went, because it did seem more like Tenhao and Sigs were the two trying to push up, really try and make stuff happen on the offense.
A bit of like a fireburner role.
Yeah, exactly. Really filling in and making sure that everything is in its proper place.
But so far, there's Realize taking the shot, and now a 2v1 situation. Tenhao forced to get something, and that bounce goes right over him. You complimented the bounce, and now we get to compliment the shot.
I mean, that bounce was so good for him. I mean, it gets through the last man, but it's coming straight to you for you to get the clear and to come up with the miss there. That one hurts. Tough one to concede at the start.
And that's a rough one, because you can tell Tenhao, he saw the bounce coming, but didn't expect it to go that high. So he had about half of the prediction right. He knew where it was generally going, but slightly off on his execution. And because of it, Veloce getting a quick and easy punishment goal. And now a team bump comes through, so the rotation won't be as rock solid, but the clear goes right to SMW. A fake on the flip preset, and then the follow-up almost got the dunk. That would have been a highlight play for Veloce.
Just enough of a cover-up from Senbei Strikers here. As Twiz into the corner, gonna need a little help from Senzo, and SMW caught on the opposite end, kind of just in charge of managing a potential counterattack, and is able to keep possession for Veloce here. As once more, it does seem like Senbei Strikers trying to figure out how they want to get out of their own half, much like yesterday.
Oh, here we go. Two players in the same spot from Veloce, but it's finding Senzo on the other side. Twiz then eager to get up to that shot off the backboard, but good defense, and you complimented Senbei Strikers' defense. I am impressed so far, able to manage well and have some damage control prepped out for them. Now off the backboard, almost getting a follow-up, but we're waiting for Realize to crash the net.
Yeah, the structure in general for Senbei Strikers yesterday seemed pretty adequate. It was just, you can't keep everything out of the net when I believe Optic Gaming was, I think, averaging over 10 shots per game on them. It's only so much you can keep out.
And probably stealing boosts along with it.
It was definitely a tough day at the office yesterday. Today is a new day. And finally, this is the first chance that Senbei Strikers have had an opportunity to kind of stay over on the blue half here in game one. That's a great demo from Veloce to give themselves more space to work with.
Now a good challenge there from the corner. Senzo up early to get a shot on target, doesn't find it. And I still am impressed with this Senbei Strikers defense. They have carried out a lot of very difficult shots that have been placed on their own net. Now a good transition, but Senzo turned the other way instead of out, and unable to get a shot follow-up.
Twiz still out there winning the ball back and forth, though. Tenhao really having a stretch to try and reach this. Needs the support and towards the net. That one is going to be collected by Senzo. Veloce up 2.
And it's been routine here. Look at Senzo in the rotation. He was coming back, trying to fill the role as the third man, realized that it was going to be SMW winning the challenge, and then was able to get the nice and smooth follow-up, clean-up shot. That's what you want to see out of Veloce. Nice and easy routine plays where they're able to punish when they need to.
Tenhao just caught a step or two far forward as he went for that initial challenge. Senbei not able to cover up behind. Realize and control. Great challenge from SMW. Pretty much went straight towards the center of the ball. Took away a lot of chances for Realize to try and set up an air dribble.
Oh,
and that one gets through, and Twiz, sorry, I was thinking TFW. Or SMW is able to take another one here for Veloce.
Oh, well, look at the play from the corner. Realize was the player who needed to get a touch. Anything in that situation would have been ideal and better than what we saw here. Unable to find anything as the ball slowly rolls across, and now that's going to be 3-0 for Team Veloce. 1 minute and 38 seconds on the clock. A difficult matchup for Senbei Strikers, but one that they're, of course, willing to step up for. Here comes Senzo in the air. A lot of space given. He finds SMW, and now a good follow-up from Twiz, but can't catch it. And we're down the other end.
Nice couple of clears from Senbei strikers, but there's an issue in terms of staying on offense for an extended stay. With a minute left here, you'd like to see him at least put one on the board. Right. Get some sort of offense rolling. And currently, Veloce covering up nicely in the midfield, dish down to Tenhao. He's trying to buy time, let his teammates come forward. I like the idea. They're going to get the boost steal. Senbei strikers seeing if they can put something together here. Realize off the ceiling. Twiz is up early, back corner, and unfortunately a little high. Tenhao trying to keep the press going. Here's Sig to try and recover possession. Bounce for Realize. Really got to try and measure this one out. And Senbei probably, I think, going to have to give a little ground here. It's just too aggressive. But
we did get a glimpse of the potential out of Senbei strikers, and that's with Realize behind the ball. Striking, and speak of the devil, here comes Realize to put this in.
Didn't think that one was going to fly away. I thought there were a lot of people in the net, but Tenhao, great control. Little misdirection as well. SMW and Twiz probably staring at him, trying to figure out how he's going to stay on that ball. And here comes Realize around the side, all the way to the back end of the net. They're within 30 seconds, a lot to ask, but definitely seen stranger things as Sig is through on the kickoff as well.
And I'm not really sure if anybody can hear it coming through the microphone, but the emotion and the praise from Senbei strikers as they get that goal and find their first one was incredibly loud. So you can tell the emotion, the passion there for Senbei strikers up against Veloce. 3-1.
Good steal.
Not sure if they can get back to this game, but maybe with a shot early on, there's a chance of a miracle. 10 seconds left, and they don't find it.
Yeah, Sig couldn't really do too much with the amount of boost he had. I think he made the right decision actually letting that one bounce off the wall to give him the chance to try and hit it mid with pace, but fortunately it all just kind of fell apart and last-ditch effort to try and get within one, but ultimately Veloce going to walk away with a Game 1 win. And in general, the start of that game, a lot of Veloce. Senbei started to figure it out towards the middle, but too much of an early lead to overcome, it would seem.
I think coming into Game 2, you'll see a much more confident Senbei strikers because they were able to get their first and maybe second connection of passes on the other side. As we see Realize.
10 shots for Senbei?
10 shots. It didn't feel like it as Veloce were able to match
Veloce,
it.
I wasn't sure how many shots Senbei were going to get, because I know what you mean. It really didn't feel like they were going to match, because it did take them a while to kind of get that offense going, but past that midway point, definitely started to make a few more pushes back down the other side, so feels not quite as problematic as it did yesterday versus Optic Gaming, but still, they have to feel happy over on the Senbei side that, okay, we at least got the offense going in this game, whereas yesterday, it was tough to really get the engine started against Optic Gaming, so they would be like, okay, we may have lost Game 1, but we know we can at least break out, go toe-to-toe in terms of the offensive output, even if we lost this one.
And actually hold some possession, too, which is the key for finding confidence. If you're just getting destroyed on the defensive side, having to save shot after shot, you're not going to be very confident moving forward, and you're going to hesitate more. But being able to hold your own, keep some possession, take some midfield boost, get a nice turn in, and win some challenges, and maybe even outpace some players of Veloce, that's huge moving on in the series. And we'll see how that affects them moving on mentally, because that's obviously going to be a big drought. But Veloce, they were dominant to come out here, start out the game with strong shots, very powerful ones. Twiz pressed as we would expect coming in here. With the stats that he comes with out of his own region, I really expected him to be that aggressive, and it's nice to see him still following suit.
Yeah, excellent return to the starting roster as Senbei strikers seeing if they can pick up where they left off at the end of regulation with a lot of pressure in Game 1. Veloce now Game 2, seeing if they can recapture another early lead here. A few bumps in the midfield, giving Senbei a couple extra meters to work with. Twiz on a dribble through Sig, as now it's Realize alone on the backboard and taking his time with the ball, knowing he doesn't want to make an errant touch and allow Veloce to increase the pressure.
Here we go. Oh, going for a dribble, Senbei strikers, and now the connection. They had it, but the shot far too inaccurate. Really good idea there that was developing in front of us.
Once more, straight towards the net, just forcing Twiz to make the save, or was that SMW? Either way, Veloce equal to the task, but this time they're through everyone. Sig just get this one middle, and he has to slow it down. Doesn't by the time, and it actually throws off the scent. Veloce trying to figure out how that one's going to get pace going across that bounce threw Sig for a huge loop. And Twiz was like, no, I have to make the save. And Senbei is just like, yeah, just go right on by. Give
and Tenhao, you could see he actually missed the shot. Couldn't find the follow-up, as we do indeed have a pause. We'll find out what the issue is here moving forward. But that was ridiculous. There was a really awkward bounce in the corner. And then the pass did come out. It was late. Tenhao missed it. But then for whatever reason, Sig was in the position, got the follow-up, and scored the goal.
Now, it is intriguing. We don't know exactly what this pause is for. There's actually no guarantee that that goal stands if you think about it, because we don't know what happened. We don't know what caused Twiz to have to rotate back. Maybe someone had some type of crash or something as we wait for the admins.
Controller unplugged. There's always issues here that can unfold.
Could have been any number of things, and we're going to let the player admins figure that one out, because that's mostly what I'm concerned with.
I've got a story, though. You want to hear a story?
Let's hear a story.
Okay. You know, I used to be teammates with Matt, all right? This man played on 60 hertz.
Why?
Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why. On LAN, he would deliberately change the refresh rate of the monitor from 144 or whatever it was at the time all the way down to 60, and it would completely destroy any other player that would come and play in that same spot. It was like he wasn't even...
Because no one's thinking about why.
Exactly. And then you get on the computer, and sometimes the first instinct is just, okay, I'm good to go. Let's get into the game. Not realizing you're actually playing...
Why would the monitor be on anything less than...
Exactly. And sometimes that would throw players off. So that's just that's an example of things that can throw you off in this situation, in this environment.
Any number of things goes wrong on LAN sometimes, and as we let the player admins figure it out, it does seem that they figured out. The goal does stand, so clearly nothing too disastrous for anybody. Senbei Strikers will stay 1-0 up as we restart here in Game 2.
Here comes the transitions. Dude, it was abysmal. I don't know how he played on it.
Matt, we gotta have a talk.
Trust me, I had a lot of sit-downs with him about it, but it never worked. And now it looks like Veloce had some time to figure themselves out with that little break and are able to get a slapper in this one from Twiz.
Yeah, it's not too bad of a clear from Sig in terms of the approach. The problem was the power. Kind of came out a little soft and floaty towards the midfield, and that man Twiz got to just roll up and give it everything he had. They're going to find a quick equalizer here in Game 2. Perfect kickoff, but realize, can you get through the last man? As unfortunately, SMW, well and truly ready for it. Liked the approach from Senbei, but...
Twiz, oh my. He still has a lot of space to work with off the backboard, and look at that touch. Senbei Strikers, you are on another level, and so is that save, SMW.
The execution of it, trying to see if he could get that all the way to the top corner on the opposite post. Flick a little bit weak. Senbei Strikers, 2 opportunities in a row that felt pretty good. It's just a matter of can you actually get it by the last man, as this has to feel good again, because you want to make sure that if you're Senbei Strikers coming out here going toe-to-toe, forcing Veloce to respect what you can do. I would say
another one off the crossbar, it's in. Realized you can't be stopped.
Huge shot from Realized to find a go-ahead goal. And SMW, try as he might, I mean, you have to cover so much of the net there. The easiest touch probably going to be towards the middle or towards the same post. And Realize on the outside of the ball, just over the back shoulder. Veloce down 1 and still conceding a lot of offensive ground. Senbei Strikers starting to take the possession lead.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see Realize get more comfortable. He's pushing up more on his own instead of thinking to himself, okay, I've got to hold the whole team down. I've got to do this myself on my own as that third man. No, instead he's actually being aggressive, taking charge, and as a result, he's downfield for plenty of clears that come his way, and with the striking ability that we've seen him show us and execute, that is going to be dangerous stuff for Veloce.
Nice catch from Realize, just trying to hold onto the ball and force Twiz back off and give a little space. A little slow to go for Sig, and actually gets through everybody. Tenhao was thinking Sig had that one cleanly. How wrong he was as Veloce take advantage of all the space, and that's a big demo to try and relieve the pressure. Twiz wisely going to cut back into the play and keep things jammed here on the orange side as Sig able to rally on the respawn and reset the whole playing field.
You can see what Veloce are actually going for. And this one doesn't fall in. You thought it was going to slip in, especially with the director cam. Couldn't see that final rotation coming out, but Thankfully for Senbei Strikers, there was a player in position. And out of Veloce, I think it's routine. It doesn't look like they're exerting too much energy trying to go for some crazy solo play. That's a good first touch, but then still read well by Senbei Strikers. They're taking boosts, getting demos, trying to force Senbei in an uncomfortable spot, which it's working half the time, but there's still a save coming out, like that one from Tenhao, and then they get the counterattack moving. This is some unbelievable stuff out of Senbei Strikers.
Defense was great yesterday. It hasn't taken a step down today. Even if it is kind of flying by, sitting there on a thread to make sure they don't bend but don't break. They manage it.
Hold on. This is it. One final minute, and Senbei Strikers can take their first game here in the series. SMW wants to change that and potentially get the equalizer.
Big block from Sig in the midfield to keep Senbei in a decent position, forcing Veloce to work hard for every challenge, as that's towards the goal, and it's actually goal. Did that get own goal? I'm not sure. They have to see it again. Senzo towards goal.
Sends it forward.
Yeah,
and this.
Okay, it was Sig. I wasn't sure. I thought his car looked like kind of blue, and I was like, wait, was that a Veloce player or not? But Sig just throws it off his own backboard straight into his own goal, and that one stings.
Final minute of Rocket League. Definitely the most difficult. You have to maintain your composure and still stay tight-knit with your rotations. Unfortunately, Sig unable to find that, and we're all tied up. Veloce, they've got all the momentum in their own corner, in their own half, and they're coming out very strong. Another bump, and then a goal will be followed up from Senzo. The tides have turned quickly.
Now the own goal really bites. I mean, that's tough. You just get pushed out, and Senzo is able to collect a go-ahead goal with 22 seconds. Last man back for Senbei, unable to figure out how to control the press.
Here we go.
SMW trying to put this game on ice, and he just might do it with Twiz's help. This one down in the middle. There's Senzo, denied by Tenhao, realizes slow to recover, shot behind him. Here comes Sig to template out to the side. Tenhao, you got one last look at it.
This is it. Tenhao to the midfield, realize, almost got it, and it's still in the air. They can do this. However, one quick challenge from Senzo is going to finish game number 2, and even with the pause, even with the first goal, even with the step-up improvement from the defensive side of Senbei Strikers, they don't come up victorious.
Jeez. That one's tough. I'm just...
That's pain. That's pain.
I mean, you felt pretty good about it. You're up 2-1, and even though you gave one back, you were okay with it, and then just two pretty much back-to-back goals, especially when the equalizer is an own goal.
That was the most difficult one to process. I mean, swallowing a pill that size and an own goal that is that frustrating.
And it kicks you while you're down, because you got scored on like 10 seconds later to give away the lead. And
it hurts.
That's a tough game to lose if you're Senbei Strikers. And you just kind of got to buckle down, bite the bullet.
But here's the thing, you've already got the worst thing out of the way. I mean, that is quite literally one of the worst results in terms of the final minute that you could have. So now you're able to swallow. That's literally something that you would tell these players, okay, we got the losing out of the way. It's done. We've been there before. We know what it feels like. Now we can bounce back. And there's smiles on their faces too, which is a good sign, because after conceding an own goal like that, it's really easy to get into your head. Mentality slips up, but to see smiles on these players' faces, that's certainly a good sign.
Did have to find a way to rally yesterday. Stayed in fairly fine spirits, and they are doing a good job whenever they get out in front. You know, there's something to be said about the energy when you play in a live environment, Turtle, I'm sure.
There's this weird, it almost feels like physical pressure. I don't know how to explain it, and you can feel it weighing on your body, on your hands. And Veloce, there's no pressure on their shoulders or on their hands, because this one just slips in off the miss from Senbei Strikers on the defense.
And here's the other side of the coin, right? Yeah, you keep the smile on your face through a tough loss, and then 5 seconds in,
smile's gone.
That's the punch to the gut.
Yep.
That's gotta hurt.
And it's frustrating, because Senbei Strikers have moments where you think to yourself, okay, these, pretty clear and out there mistakes that everybody's witnessing, you think that they're done with, because a lot of times whenever a newer region gets put into the RLCS, they're not used to the speed, and it's very obvious what mistakes they're making with their rotations, right? You thought that phase was kind of over for Senbei Strikers, but then under the pressure, especially at the World Championship, you can start to fall back into old habits, and that might be what's happening and what we're witnessing in front of us.
Senbei, a lot of time here in game 3 to find an answer to the opening salvo from Veloce. There's that same approach Veloce has had for the last game or so. Kind of just dump the ball into the corner and fight it out that way. Oh my, no! You make a gorgeous save. And then another own goal for Senbei Strikers.
Oh, they just can't catch a break, Achieves. You found the save, realized was in position, and you don't even want to blame Tenhao for trying to make a save. He's going, he's giving the best effort he can, and the ball did end up bouncing off his car and in.
Gosh.
It hurts. That one, you can feel the pain in that one.
I mean,
the first own goal, maybe you're thinking to yourself, okay, maybe it was a misread.
Definitely avoidable.
Yeah.
That one, you're just like, I mean, realize you made a heck of a play. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong spot for it. Like, what are you gonna do? That's brutal.
Yeah.
Still though, no time to dwell on it. You still got 3.5 minutes here. Just find a way out of your own half. You know they're capable of it. They're good for a goal or two every game, it would seem.
Yeah, and this is the hardest part too, because Veloce, 2 goals, they're happy. They don't need to overextend now. They're not, you would ideally think they're not going to get too greedy
own goal back.
as they end up carrying this one across and Realize says, thank you very much, sir.
It's not an own goal. It did get finished off by Realize.
It's definitely scary.
SMW's definitely going into his own net there.
You can see the smile on Twizz's face as well. He's like, what was going on there? You want to explain that for me, or we should just skip the replay?
Well, you know, I was trying to go across the net, got in front of the ball, my bad.
Yeah.
That takes a little bit of the pressure off for Senbei, seeing an error of roughly similar caliber to the previous 2 that they have allowed.
Yep. And good on Realize to be in the position. Sometimes you'll see them be too passive after having an own goal of that caliber, a frustrating result. But of course, able to bounce back, and now they're holding some possession, keeping it above and past their own midfield line, but it's going to be a really good carry out. And Twiz doesn't want to challenge, actually opting to go for the safer play and keep this one to himself.
I really like Twiz's positioning so far when it's been Veloce trying to stay on offense. I mean, he seems to be able to get inside the head of how Senbei likes to rotate through their own goal box and understands where they're going to try and move the ball. He's been a big problem in terms of Senbei getting consistent clears and breaking out of their own half.
Oh, and look at the patience from Senzo. That's what I'm talking about. These guys don't have a reason to force, and shove their way through the defense, especially taking the lead and knowing that they have the defense to hold it down against Senbei Strikers. Here comes Twiz, though, looking for an early shot. Doesn't find it, Realize able to get himself in the position and play some man coverage. Now stuck on his own half, can't get it out. And Veloce are running a field day around their own offense.
Okay. A couple of big misses here for Veloce. Can you put this one away? Tenhao bouncer, and that's SMW coming off the backboard. Tough bounce to read. Realize comes up empty. Twiz towards the goal. Ooh. He's gonna put a second one in terms of the differential over Senbei here. Lot to ask from Realize, and not sure if that's the right approach, to be honest. Like, yeah, if you get that touch, you take it away, but how do you keep possession after you land on the wall? Not really sure how you can handle that one. That's an awkward situation to be in.
And even then, that bounce was super weird. It actually hit the bottom lip of the sidewall and went straight up. Normally you see it roll off or even bounce to the side and out, but that one straight up to the ceiling. Realized couldn't get the read. Here comes SMW, flip reset, showing some mechanics, and it, as the Chief said, it's just in.
I thought this was going to go off the crossbar
I did too.
and
I didn't
come
think this
down,
was in.
but SMW, a little bit of an ice cream scoop, and just rainbows that one up and down, straight into the crossbar. 4-1 for Veloce now towards the latter half of game 3.
Here we go.
Oh.
Do Senbei get back into it, Chiefs?
You know,
do they get back in?
It's another game where I think they may be able to score one more, but I don't think they can put this within one.
Almost called it, almost called it.
It's just the general level of pressure Veloce has been able to exert, while it's not as much as Optic was yesterday. Overall, it's been tough for Senbei to find consistent ways out of their own half. And when they've got out of their own half, there's been some really great presses. Love the looks, love the ideas to try and break through some of those defensive setups from Veloce, but in general, that midfield is locked down fairly tight for Veloce, and it's been tough to find strong clears.
Speaking of strong clears, though, look at Veloce banging this one off the backboard. They have been throwing a lot of these clears towards the half of Senbei Strikers and just saying, hey, We're going to see how you react to this. If you don't have any good control, we're going to take advantage of it. Otherwise, we'll be able to meet you in the midfield and still maintain possession. So it's kind of a win-win situation for Veloce if they play that way. Here come two players. One actually could go for the demo, and then they're getting greedy, taking it. And as I mentioned, the demo, it does come out. The flick wasn't strong enough to get the goal, but plenty of time wasted off the clock. And it looks like we will go again to match point with a potential 4-0 sweep.
Senbei trying to make something of the final 10 seconds.
Anything.
Anything at all.
Something for the road.
And they may actually get it here, unfortunately. Stolen away, last-ditch effort. Realized to himself needs a little help. That's actually a great setup, but unfortunately, nobody here to take advantage of it. Twiz just gonna float one down. All right, do you actually score it? No, drilled straight into the floor. And Veloce cruising. It was doable.
It was.
It was doable, but you started off. I mean, that opening goal 5 seconds in, and then a second own goal. Like,
And the way the own goal went in, like nothing you could do about it. Realize, got the save too, so it's like a burst of happiness and dopamine, and then instantly it falls back down and your heart sinks.
Right into the pit of despair.
And that is sometimes the way the cookie crumbles here
it's
for
like
Senbei Strikers.
If that doesn't get own goal, it's like, that's one of the saves of the tournament so far. That was a huge, that was a massive save.
Air dribble under the ball, pinch off the crossbar.
That was huge, and you hate to see it amount to nothing.
Yeah.
And in fact, the exact opposite of what it was trying to accomplish. It's like, that was tough. That's a lot to handle.
But it's okay. It's okay for Senbei Strikers. We have gotten a lot of sweeps. I don't want to say a lot of predictable games, but like I was on the desk, I predicted Renegades to beat Carmine Corp. Some people are going to be like, you are absolutely out of your mind. But the way I was thinking, think back to every single major. And I will remind you, of course, this isn't a major. This is World. So maybe that affects things. The level of seriousness obviously is there. The tone is there. But Rocket League historically has some spice thrown in the first few days,
that
right?
Shouldn't lose.
Something absolutely insane. Will it be a reverse sweep, best of 7 for Senbei Strikers?
That'd be fun.
Come on.
I'd like to watch that.
I would love that. I would be ecstatic. I don't think I would be able to sleep tonight. I'd be thinking about it my entire time.
Well, it's got to start at some point. No better time than now. As off the backboard, and that one's just not fair. SMW can see the whole play in front of them. Goes under the last man and opens it up.
And that started with the speed there from Twiz, with how fast that shot came in off the crossbar. You didn't give the defender any time to react. With the speed of it, you're thinking, okay, I can't even try to get a touch on this ball. I have to assume where the striker following up is going to get the shot, and that is just too difficult to ask for out of Senbei Strikers and their defense.
Well, perfect kickoff here from Veloce. Gets them in pretty advantageous position with a boost steal, and some time here in the blue corner is, again, pretty much the same strat. They've wanted to dump that ball into the corner, up around the sidewalls as much as possible, and just jam it in here and let their speed and the control of the midfield boost lead them to victory, and it's been working.
Here we go, though. Full boost for Sig. Does find an advantageous 50, and then maybe the follow-up, it wasn't on target, but the pass was there. Easily blocked out from Veloce.
Nice catch from SMW. Straight off the ceiling. Actually could have been a beautiful lift, and Twiz gets the handle on it. I thought they were going to get beat back the other way, but what a save.
Look at how fast they were to respond, too. They looked like they were about to get scored on, or potentially a counterattack for Senbei Strikers, even possession. A good touch from Twiz, and Senzo rotates right away. An instantaneous turn to keep the pressure going back the other end.
Realize having the dodge demo ends up giving away a little ground, which lets SMW win a challenge on the sidewall. Here comes Senzo trying to score a double tap. Making a triple tap, and that's a good stop. Diving in front of the net was, I believe, Tenhao to take that one away. As Sig and Co trying to figure out, can we find a clear please? Ball getting peppered off the backboard of Senbei Strikers.
Nice flick.
So another float. There's the man to put it down, and that's actually a shot off target. Probably should have been in the goal, but the lead will stay at 1 for Veloce.
The backboard for Senbei Strikers is looking like prime free real estate for Veloce. A lot of space there. Nobody opting to rotate there. We do see Realize go on the backboard, but he's not in the right position. And Twiz is trying to take it to that spot on the backboard, which was effective, excuse me, in the first goal for Veloce. And we'll see them, of course, try and abuse that as much as they can.
Little extra space for Sig. It's only an option, unfortunately. Kind of dump it into the blue corner, see if they can regain possession. SMW bobbing and weaving around some physical attempts. Now
2v1, and he got the
He's gonna
bump.
get bumped down, recovery, and actually forces the ball to get popped back into the middle, but unfortunately, no more defenders to throw at the problem.
And this is a painful moment for Sig as he went up there on the backboard still. And credit to Tenhao for the hustle to get the follow-up save. He got bumped, still got the touch, and then an unfortunate miss from Sig who couldn't get the follow-up save.
Tough day at the office.
Yeah, it's within reach for Senbei strikers, but they haven't gotten a proper grip on the possession and just the game in general, it feels like.
Ball hovering once more in front of the Senbei net. SMW will need a little help. Twiz, a little slow to go for it, but trying to stretch it into an extra attempt.
Look at the space too. Nobody wants to move forward, and then you get a double commit because of it. Somebody's got to throw their way and their weight at the opponent.
Ball for SMW, a little misdirection. Throws the car in reverse for a second just to see if he can get anybody to bite on a fake challenge. Realize beat out by SMW, and Veloce again just jammed into this corner. It's stealing away the boost. I mean, I'm not surprised that the strikers are driving left and right all the way across their own pitch. It's tough to have any boost right now.
I mean, look at the upper right now. Look at 0007. That was what I was seeing for a solid 3 seconds. And for whatever reason, it's a goal. Okay, I guess they don't need any boost. What happened to Veloce? They had all the boost. And then it's 150-50 win from Sig. And for whatever reason, everybody's ready.
I mean, the thing that really beats Veloce right there is realize he doesn't try and shoot that ball. I think he was trying to put it in the net, but I think he mis-executed, and everybody from Veloce is diving across, but ends up going right back into his teammate. Either way, even if it was an intended pass, it's certainly enough to beat Veloce on that one.
No boost, no problem.
No boost, no problem. Senbei, honestly, with the amount of pressure they were under, with how boost-starved they were getting, it's amazing they didn't concede again. And they actually fight themselves back within one here.
Oh, nice touch. Predictable clear from Senbei. But nobody wanted to push out. Veloce are getting quite passive. This could work into the favor of Senbei.
No reason to hold anything back at this point. The only thing that awaits you if you don't is an 0-2 record. As that's down in front. Sig needs a little help to throw back to Tenhao.
Flip reset.
Trying to go for the fake, and that's a great recovery. SMW sniffed it out, dumped into the blue corner. Realize not quite able to hang on to possession. Needs a little help from Tenhao. Needs to smash this one towards the net. Comes off a little weak, and SMW gonna bat that one away.
Here comes Realize. He gets a flip reset himself. A lot of mechanics coming out of Senbei strikers, but nothing else to show, and Senzo was able to get the save. That was a top corner shot that would have equalized things, but Veloce, in the nick of time, able to find it.
Tenhao needs a little help. Big physical play from Veloce to take away some of the Senbei strikers' options. Another demo forces Realize to play this one by himself, just get in their face to try and keep it on the blue side. But do they have the boost to actually make it happen? Tenhao, you have to win the race.
Beater.
Down in front, Senzo, they need boost, and Realize a delicate surgeon's touch required, and unfortunately can't stay with it. Veloce will hang on to a 1-goal lead and sweep Senbei strikers down into the 0-2 round. Twiz, what a show from him.
Oh, man.
SMW, oh, man, that was tough. They had that midfield on absolute lockdown.
Yeah, that was
pretty much the entirety of Game 4. And then finally, Senbei strikers get something back the other way, and that's when you knew, okay, they're going to throw everything at us. And great job from Veloce to continuously find a way to give themselves a little extra room to work.
Yeah, right. That convinced me on the win there for Veloce. There was shaky moments, risky situations for Veloce where they were overextending, getting a little bit too overconfident, and that's what the first goal resulted in for Senbei strikers. And then they pushed back, their defense got tested, and they stood tall. So definitely a well-earned victory there for Veloce. Nothing that you can be ashamed of, too, for Senbei strikers, because a lot of glimpses of highlights, a lot of glimpses of great moments, but nothing too consistent for them because of the own goals, a couple of whiffs on the defensive side. Those things need to get picked up, especially here at this high level. Yeah,
it's the opportunities that were really ripe for the taking for Veloce, and the amount of pressure they were able to exert out of that midfield by holding on to all that boost. that was definitely a big component in winning 3 games out of the 4 for sure, and especially in that last game.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, an insane amount of pressure. So, again,
somewhere in an alternate universe, we get a Game 7 or maybe a Senbei Strikers win. It was there.
It's possible. It's just you got to find a way to get out of your own half a little bit more consistently. But they did an excellent job over on that Veloce side. And speaking of Veloce, when we come back from a short break, we'll have an interview with one of the players. So stick around if you'd like to see that. We'll be right back.